So in today's video, this is like, I want to say it's like 33 channels. Gonna put the hashtag below, and like you'll see, what everybody who's involved. I'll make a playlist and stuff, and then also have the hashtag so that you can find everybody's videos and stuff, because there's a lot of them in this. But anyway, this is a collab. I'd like to thank Perfectly Cat for coming up with the idea, and I think Roxana from Life with Roxana and Mary from the Siskateers had some doing in like creating this collab too. But anyway, the challenge is to create something craft-wise from just items that you already own or have around your house, because right now in most places they are on quarantines or stay home orders or whatever the case may be in your state or country, but this is a world thing right now, so odds are wherever you are you have some sort of idea of what I'm talking about. But yeah, the thing that I decided to make today is these ears. Which are some flower and garden inspired ears. So yeah, I will show you how to make these. So for the first part of this, we're gonna make an ear mold, and this is just my extra comic book bags and boards. The boards usually aren't in the best condition anyway. The bags I've switched over to using a different type of comic book bag, which it doesn't matter anyway because we're not using bags for this project. But the boards I've found, actually there's something I have around and they actually work really well for doing ears. So that's what we're going to be using. You'll probably have to use two. It usually doesn't take a full two, but I can usually only get like a full, like, I'll show you. You'll see. Okay, so you're going to need an ear form for this one. I happen to have an ear form because I make ears sometimes. But if you don't already have an ear form, they do have templates for it online. With this one, I actually took a pair of ears I already had and kind of just guesstimated tracing it and stuff. And then what you're gonna come out with is something like this, and then you need an extra piece of cardboard from just the way the cardstocks are made. I found like 3 will fit on there. I actually had a piece from another one that I was working on before, so I just used it on the excess from that. And then you're gonna cut these out. You can use scissors, or depending, sometimes an X-Acto knife works better, depending on how close they are in together. So that's really a personal preference. I like to have both around when I'm making ears. But yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll show you how they look after I cut them. also something, this is like one I've cut out. You will notice on some of these, they may come out a little uneven when you're cutting them if the lines aren't like super exact. I usually like try to line them up once I have two cut out and make sure each ear at least is exactly to each other by just kind of like lining them up and then taking either like an X-Acto knife again or scissors. Like I said, it's really your preference on that. And just kind of trimming the little tiny bit of excess where they might not totally line up together on those. It's usually not a whole lot at all, but it'll help you when you're putting them together, as long as like for them to match up, at least for like each pair of ears. Sometimes it's best to check the backs of them too, because you can't always see from the front and the back. Okay, that's good. And then you're going to take the ear and kind of make sure it will fit on there. Just that one does. I might put it on that way, I'm not sure yet. But that's going to be one ear, and then I will do the other one and I will be back. So this is something I did want to show before I kept going. Was I have these all cut out now, and then I kind of placed them on the ear to kind of see where they would fit and which one would be better where. But anyway, what I did was I labeled them, so I knew which ones went together. So this is the front of ear one, and then this is the, I don't know why I did it, but this would be the back of ear one, the inside of it. Wait. Okay, I see what I did. Sorry, got them mixed up. So this is the front of ear one, and then this is going to be the back of ear one, and then I did them where I differentiated so I would know which two go together when I glue them. And also, once I cover these parts in fabric, I won't be able to see the ends to know which part they are to glue them together, so I did put them on there. And the same for these, in case you were curious about that or how to help yourself to differentiate them and stuff. And okay, so we had to use products that were stuff we had around our house because we're quarantined, or well, it's only stuff you need to be able to get out right now for the most part. Though I don't know how strongly or not strongly they're enforcing that at the moment, but it is technically the law right now. But anyway, this is a dress that I've had for a few years now. It's like a little summertime dress, and it did recently break in the shoulders on one side. See, it had a little mesh thing. It still has it on this side, but on this side it doesn't. But it has a really pretty like flowery pattern on it, and I thought, well, since this is broken, instead of like, because it's this right here is not really a fixable thing. If it was like just the fabric, maybe I could try to sew it or glue it or something, but as is, it's not the best for fixing. So I'm just going to recycle it and turn it into a pretty pair of ears, and maybe be some like flower and garden ears or something maybe. So yeah, that's going to be the fabric that I used today, and I don't know yet if I'm going to do the bow in the same fabric or if I'm going to look for something else either some scrap fabric I have or something else I can cut up around here. We will see. I haven't decided that yet. So yeah, I'll show you how I cut this thing apart. To be left with. If you're curious what the heck I was doing, I was just cutting like all around the stem line, or at least trying to. Sometimes I was trying to use the X-Acto knife because it does make cleaner cuts, though sometimes you do have to pull the thread a little bit, but the scissors is probably quicker, but you won't get as nice of a cut usually. So yeah. With these ears, you're going to place the fabric down, like upside down, basically. And we're going to take some of these ear forms. We're doing the second one first, I guess, because that's the one I grabbed. And this step is going to vary a little bit from what I've normally seen people doing on YouTube, because most people will like exactly measure the ear and like what the size is supposed to be. I kind of just, in a way, like I cut squares for it, and then I will, as I'm wrapping it, cut off the excess. So and this is what I kind of mean. You got, if you use the X-Acto knife to cut the fabric, you will kind of have to tug at it a little bit, but like this is what I mean. You'll cut that and then just kind of wrap it around the ear to be filled. I can really just kind of guesstimate it this way too by just taking it to another piece of the fabric and using that as my fabric guide. Okay, so there's the two fabric squares that we have. For one part of the ear, these are going to go together once they're on the ears, and I will show you how to do that step next. Okay, and here's the piece. So my glue stick is heating up right now. I think actually I have to plug it in. Give me a second. Always make sure you plug in your glue stick so it will be heating up, instead of forgetting to plug it in like I did. So we have a piece of fabric, and like I said, this one you're gonna want to make sure that it is like upside down, because usually the fabric's only printed on one side. So this is the good side, so it's gonna be going down. If it's a piece of fabric that has some kind of design on it, you may want to adjust it before you cut it to have the fabric where you wanted it. But with this just being what it is, and it's not a character or anything, I figured it'd be fine. Just kind of doing it as a way, in which way would use the most of the fabric, if that makes sense. Okay. So. The glue stick, you'll know if it's heated up because it'll like, I don't know if you can see that. Like right now it's hot, but it's not heated up all the way because it's not coming out when you push on it. So yeah, I'm going to let that heat up. Now it's heated up. You can tell because I did kind of like pull some out of it by pressing on it. So what you're gonna do is start going around the ear like so. It's kind of only work in sections because this glue will like dry and get kind of tacky and stuff if you don't work fast. So that's why it's easiest to do it in sections. And like I said, with these, there's going to be a lot of excess fabric, but I'm just going to cut it off at the end. Because, like I said, I've had the problem where I will cut fabric and think I have cut it right, and then I get to the end and I'm like, oh no, I don't have enough, or I'll have to like wrap it super tight, like the ear, which is not good, at the end, because I don't have enough for it to work once I start putting the fill in there for the ears. But yeah, like I said, I just find this to be the easiest way. Other people do measure things properly, but I guess this is just a Tiffy way. And I'm sorry if it's hard to see like what I'm doing exactly, because like I'm recording my phone and I don't really have a good setup for like being able to record and you see what I'm doing while I'm crafting. On on this edge, we're going to cut this down a little bit. Do just a little bit more glue on the edges to keep those down where we cut it. Ow. Yeah, don't do what I just did and like get glue on you. I'm really bad about that. Like every time I make ears, I burn myself so much. But yeah, just kind of cut off the excess from the fabric. Like any part where there's like a lot of it bunched up that's not glued down, basically, just cut it off. Except like this flap, will do that last because that's where the fill stuff's gonna go in. Okay. And this is what I've been using to fill the ears. This is just original polyfill, premium polyester fiber fill right here. One bag will go a very long way. I've made several pairs of ears and like only put a small chunk in this bag. So I just pulled out a handful. I probably won't even use this much, but I don't know. We'll see how full I want them to be. This right here came with it. It's what they call like a fill tool. And it's actually pretty cool. It's just a stick from what I can tell. When I actually bought that bag, I was like looking all over because I'm like, what in the world? It says it came with a free fill tool, but I don't see anything. And turns out it was just like a little stick you use to poke the stuff in. But this is another part, like a lot of people I've seen like will just like kind of stuff it in with their fingers, but I do like having the tool because it makes it so you can get the stuff more even once it's in there, especially if it's like the last little bit you're trying to get in. And you just pull some more polyfill and continue to fill. And then like basically what I use the tool for here is just kind of spreading it out within the ear so it's more even. And this is going to be a thing where I'm sure different people are going to think different amounts of this is going to be how they prefer their ears, because some people like them more puffier and some people like them less puffier. So that's really just going to be a personal preference within reason. Like, don't overfill them where you feel them being overfull and like coming out the sides and stuff. But to some extent, as long as you have room within like the fabric you cut and stuff, it's perfectly reasonable to like get them as poofy or unpoofy as you want them. I think I'm going to stop about there. You can see, and I'm feeling the edges. Okay, that feels good to me. And then I'm just going to close them up, which is just going to take a little glue and put it on the edge there. And then, like I said, trim off the little bit of excess. And this is what I was talking about before, of why you want to put them on the back. Like, write something on the back so you know. So like, I know this is going to be the front. of ear too, because you can only see the back side where they're gonna hook in together once the fabric is on there. So we have our 2 ears right now. We're going to put them together. This one's going to be the front. How I do this, because this is actually going to require a lot of glue, the way I've found is best to avoid as much as possible hurting yourself with glue is just put like a big glob in the middle and then stick them together and kind of see where that goes, because the glue is going to like spread when you press them together, and kind of do it that way, and then kind of just start putting more glue in and pressing harder from there. And like, you're going to want to press in the middle like this, hold for a minute, maybe not a full minute, but like hold for a second. I don't know why, but every time I do this, I always think of like it kind of like being like making whoopie pies, but with fabric and ears and stuff. I don't know, that's a weird analogy, but it's how I do it. I don't know if you can see in there, but that's kind of what it's looking like. And I'm just kind of going to put kind of putting like more glue in here as we go for each section. And hopefully none of it ends up coming out the sides too much. Headband. I had sound off on this one because this is where I usually end up hurting myself, and I did. So yeah, be careful with hot glue guns, you guys. But yeah, I wrapped my headband and I filmed most of it, but as you can tell, I just kind of roughly guesstimated about how big I needed the strip to be, and then kind of, as I went, was kind of cutting off the excess. In here it's a little rough in parts, but usually I just take some kind of trim inside to cover that up at least somewhat, and then it helps with the positioning on your head too. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't have any at the moment, and I'm stuck inside, so I can't really go get some. So, but that's usually the idea when you're doing headbands. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go and attach the ears to where they need to go. Maybe about like that. If you haven't done this before, usually a good idea is to kind of take another pair of ears maybe you have and position them, kind of get an idea of where to position them based off how the ears you already have are. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So I forgot to press record again while I was putting this first part on, so I'll show you with the second one. Really thought I had done that. But what you're gonna want to do is put down a good line of glue. Not a super lot, because it will leak out the sides and burn you. This has happened to me many times. Try to pull off string. And you're going to try to center it up. You do want to, if you're planning on putting a bow, you're going to want to leave a good amount of space in the middle. And not just have them where, like, really close together. Also because the headband, it will space out on your head, so it doesn't necessarily look how it looks when you're putting it together, if that makes sense. And I didn't get enough down here. Just have glue kind of going everywhere on my mat. Now I need the little one on the top here. Get that part to stay. And you'll probably have to hold it on until it's got a little bit of structure to it, and then you can just like set it down to dry. But these are like the base of the ears in there. With this kind of fabric, like if there's nothing actually like a character or something printed on it, sometimes even if there is, depending on what it is, you can generally pick which side of it at this point you want to be the front, whichever side you think looks better, and then whatever side that is will be like you'll attach the bow to, or whatever. So I'm going to let these finish setting for a second and figure out what exactly I want to do for the bow real quick while the glue is drying. It shouldn't take too long for that to dry, but I want to figure out what I'm going to do. So what I've decided to do is take some felt that I had left over from another project, because I think that the pink in this kind of matches the flowers in this. I could very easily just use more of this fabric to make the bow, but personally I kind of like it better when the bows kind of pop out a little bit from them. This one it's a thicker, felt's kind of a thicker fabric, so I don't want to make it as wide as I normally make my bows. Plus I don't have that much of this certain color of felt because it was just part of a sheet I had left over from something else I did. But yeah, I think first, like, I'm gonna try to fold it over like this, how it will be when I have it done, and then kind of cut the edges a little bit so that they're even. And it's just on this side I really need to cut the edges on. Only ever used felt for a bow like once, and it was like a different kind of felt, like it was a really like almost fur-like type of felt. Okay, so I have that, and I'm going to put a line of glue on the back to connect these two pieces together. So this becomes essentially like one piece of fabric. If you have sewing skills or a sewing kit or something, this would be a time to use that. But you can just do it with hot glue. That's normally what I will do because I can sew a little tiny bit, but I don't have any sewing stuff and I'm not the best at sewing. Like, I can do a few stitches and that's about it. Okay. So, that's what you got. Little square. Or rectangle. It's more of a rectangle. It kind of needs to be a rectangle for a bow. And then you kind of press down on that so it dries. So you're going to want to start, I'm going to say have the side where you kind of glue this together be on the back side of the bow and have the prettier side be on the front. So you're just going to want to put a dab of glue in the middle and then hold it together. Until it like sticks. And then you're going to want to go in the back and kind of glue those sides down back here. And these are just kind of going to be like accordion folds that you use on making this bow. That's probably my whole favorite part of this is actually making bows, just because I have a little bit more experience with those than the ears. Though I'm getting better with the ears, I think. Maybe. I've had some people tell me that they like the ears I sent them, so. Hold that down. And then just basically finish it off on this side too by putting a double dab of glue in here. Don't worry too much about exposed edges in the middle because you will be putting a small piece of fabric in there too. Ouch. Like I said, be careful when making anything with hot glue because it likes to bite. No, just gonna finish that off. Hold it down. And do the same with the back piece. Just gonna glue that piece down. I swear, I cannot stop with the getting little bits of hot glue on my skin right now. Okay, so that's going to be kind of how it looks. I think I'm going to use a scrap from making the bow, making the ears, sorry. And I'm just kind of sizing it up. Okay. I did fold this in half. Okay. Yeah. Cut it about there. think we want it to, the bottom to be here. Okay. And you're just going to kind of put glue as you go on down to the bow and kind of pull it as you go. Finish that off because I kept getting glue on myself trying to record it. But this is basically what you have. There's a piece left here. I'm just going to cut that. And then we're going to grab our headband. It's right here. I think I'm going to have this side be the front. And pull any little bits of glue off if you can, because felt likes to have every little piece of everything stick to it. And then we're going to put it up here. And glue it down. Press down for however long it takes to get it to have somewhat of a hold, and then it can like just dry on its own. This next step I'm about to show you is totally optional. I usually do it, but you don't have to. Like how this bow does this, I usually just glue down the edges on that, which I have not seen other people do, so like I said, that's optional, just the little quirk of mine. And then do that on both of them. And these look really cute. At least I think they do. And these are what they're going to look like when they're done, or at least this pair. You can put some trim around the edges if you'd like. So yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. Make sure you go watch everybody else's videos and stuff. I did decide not to put any trim on these ears because just with the colors of trim I had, I thought they looked better without it and didn't really need it. But yeah, I really like them. They're really comfortable. I think they're really cute. So yeah, you'll probably be seeing these in a future video I make and stuff. So yeah, go watch everybody else's videos. Have a great day. Stay inside. Stay safe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, you guys.